All right, here we go for another session of Nourie niche. Doing some flatland, basic flatland BMX. And today's trick is going to be called a sidewinder. Actually, I posted this, I don't know, about a week ago asking for a name because I never really named it. And someone was saying that it's been around for 30 years, but I haven't been doing it for that long. But Xavier Mendez named it the sidewinder. So I'm going to go with the sidewinder. So today's trick is the sidewinder. We're here in beautiful Ashland, Oregon. It's a nice, kind of a windy day, but it's sunny. And we got a lot of leaves changing, pretty beautiful. And I'm just going to get right into it. So sidewinder, it's basically a rear peg trick that you spin on the back peg and then you lift the bike up and you spin the bars. And again, going back to my idea behind this whole series of tricks is that it's really basically not that hard to do. I think you could do this trick in 5 sessions or less if you dedicate 20 to 30 minutes each session on the trick. And it's a fun trick. It's kind of flashy. And you do want to have free coaster or coaster brake, ideally, because when you're doing the spin on the back peg, your pedals will turn if you have a freewheel, and that can cause a little bit of problem. You could get around it by lifting up the frame, and I can demonstrate that, but it'd be a lot easier to do it with the coaster brake or free coaster. So as always, I like to just start off by doing the tricks 3 times so you can kind of watch it and maybe get a couple different angles at it, and then I'll break it down to the steps, basically getting into the swivel, then dropping down the peg, then lifting up the frame, and then spinning the bars. And yeah, that's about it. Okay, here we go. So the sidewinder, I'm going to just start off a little different this time. Instead of boomeranging into it, I'm just going to have you go from like a balanced position like this. Just like simple balance position, and then let go of the brake, kick the tire, spin up, and you see how my pedals are turning because I didn't set them. That's okay. I'm going to set it. And then you're going to drop down and you're going to lift the frame up like that. Oh, and I just got a cramp. Didn't stretch yet. Oh, I just got a cramp. Oh. Okay, so I'll do it a little faster. I was going really slow. So that's one thing to note, that if you don't set your pedal, and you've got it in a position to where when you're rolling backwards, your pedal will move, it's going to throw you off. You can get around it by lifting the frame up. When you do it, you would lift the frame up, and then the pedal would actually pedal around and it wouldn't hit the ground. But you don't always have that luxury, so I would say always set the pedal. So we'll give this one another go. All right, so I'm going to have you start from a balanced position. So I'm going to set the pedal this time, and I'm just going to start in a simple balance position on the front wheel, kick the tire, do a swivel. Now notice my pedals are not moving. Then I'm going to drop it down. Then I'm going to go take that foot off and lift up the frame. Now this is the tricky part. Right here, I have to spin the bars. Oh, boom, and that is the sidewinder. So I think the trickiest part of that trick is the bar spin, because you're spinning on the back wheel, you lift up the bike so that the front wheel's off the ground, and then you have to take one hand off and spin the bar. So that's probably the hardest part of this trick. So let me do it again. This time I will go into it from a boomerang. I typically do it that way because it's a little bit, I don't know, a little bit flashier and a little bit faster. So I'm going to just do my boomerang around, do a quick little swivel, drop it down. I go no-handed for a second, lift up the frame, get my balance, spin the bars, and then right out. I like it too when the bars land in a position that keeps spinning around. The bike doesn't stop like it just did. So that's kind of chance. Sometimes it will land really smooth. It will just, I'll spin the bars, then I'll drop it, and then it'll continue to go into that swivel. Okay, so third time always good to do it in threes, mind, body, and spirit. So I like to do 3 times so you get different angles and different ideas of how to incorporate this into your routine. So we'll do the boomerang into it again from the back peg, smoothly around, drop it down, no-handed, lift it up. I'm leaning way back, way back. Now I'm trying to keep that balance, spin the bar. So that was what I was talking about. It was much smoother. I only spun the bar once, but I did want to try to land and have it continue to roll around at that last part. So that's the trick. What do you think? Are you up for it? Really pretty easy. Like, even if you just want to start from the bike on the ground and stand on, put your foot. So I have these great pegs. Let me just talk a little bit about these pegs. So these are Iggy pegs. I've been running them for some time now, and they have these amazing little caps that are like a ball on it. I don't know how well you can see that. Let me get nice and close. So see that? Look how nice and round that is. So both for on the ground, it doesn't dig a hole in this beautiful tennis court, and it actually helps when my foot is on there because it pivots so nicely. And before, when I do like stubble ducks and other things back in the day, when I didn't have this kind of peg, I would just chew through my Vans pretty quickly. So that's a plus. The guy, you can get those through Dub out of Canada at, I think it's iggybmx.com. And pretty good investment, but well worth it. Okay, so let's break this down a little bit. So I would say, just to play with this at first, go ahead and just lay your bike down. Make sure your coaster, your free coaster is not engaged, and stand on the peg, kind of on the ball of your foot, and then lean your weight way back. Okay, and just get the spinning going, and then try to lift the bike up and just see what that's like. Not even spinning very fast, just trying to balance it like in a lawnmower, and then spin the bars. Oh, I'm going the other way. I've never done that. Wait, it's going backwards. What's that one going to be called? Okay, so that's how I would start, just to get the idea how that's going to feel. So again, I think a couple of the key factors is the position of your foot. You don't want to be on your heel. You don't want to be all the way in your toe. You want to be right about the ball of your foot. And then I basically sit on my ankle. And then the other foot, let's see, when I'm going into it, I go so, I drop down. Yeah, I just take this foot off. So this foot's not even on. This foot's helping to balance the bike by putting it back. And then I lean back, and I can kind of feel that balance point. You see my body shifting and the bike shifting. And then I'm taking the frame, the hand on the seat off, but I'm holding the frame to spin the bars, right? And then if I time it right, could be landing just perfect like so. Okay, what else? What else could I tell you about that? On the previous videos, we did talk about how to get into the swivel. So I guess I'll do that because that's kind of the first step. Little simpler, easier position would be just from balancing on the front peg. This trick does not require brakes, by the way. So if you don't have brakes, you could definitely do it. Will be just a little bit more challenging on this part where you're going to kick off, no brakes, drop down onto the peg, swivel, then drop it down, get your balance, take your leg off, and pull the frame up. Okay, so what I'm kind of doing is I'm pulling one hand, my left hand, the frame up, and I'm pushing my right hand with the seat down a little bit. And then I'm leaning way back, like I'm literally sitting on my ankle to get that balance. And maybe even just try that. Just try to hold your bike in that position to see what it's like. It's definitely got a lot of teetering going on. And it feels a little, I don't know, I guess I have fallen that way, but typically you can get the balance point pretty easily. So where was that? Okay, so just starting off, your pedals are set, you're on the peg, you're balancing, swivel, step back, and then drop it down. When you drop it down, really lean yourself back all the way, grab the seat and the frame, and again, you're not going very fast, and then lift it up. And you can kind of pump it around. Oh, that was really slow. That was like slow motion. Let me do one really fast and flashy and just see how that looks. Because that's definitely sometimes the ways that I do it. But it's not as consistent. Because if you're spinning much faster, I think it's a lot easier for that seat to drop down and you lose your balance. But let's see how that goes. Okay, here we go. The Sidewinder, named by X-Men. He's my team manager right now. Kind of, sort of. Okay, here we go. So, quick little boomerang. Drop the bike down. I'm going to go a little faster this time. Whoa, whoopsie. Got out of control. Okay, I can do that. I can do this. I'm actually getting a little hot here. So, I'm going to try to pull a nice, fast one. Oops, I messed up. So I've been trying to do these videos like in one take, so I don't have to sit there and do a lot of editing, because I would rather spend the time practicing and writing and sharing this information. But I just spaced out when I took off my shirt, my microphone was on there. So the last part of that video, you couldn't hear me talking about it. So where was I? I was going to do a faster one and I fell. Now, and I used the excuse that I was getting hot, but I fell, so I have to make up for it. So I want to do a faster one, like maybe one that's a little bit flashier. And what I was thinking about is that it's a little bit harder than the slow kind of pumping where you're just barely moving around and pumping it and then spin the bars. But it's flashier, and yeah, you can play around with the different speeds. So I will go into it from a boomerang style. That's a little easier to keep that speed. I drop it right down, no hand it for a second, pop it up, get it going, spin the bars, try to land it so that it's still going around as opposed to stopping and then riding out. So that's it. The Sidewinder. It's a fun trick. I think you could do it relatively quickly, maybe in a week, if you set your mind to it. All the things that I talked about with the positioning of your foot and practicing just leaning the bike a little bit by grabbing the frame and the seat and kind of twisting that, practicing getting that balance, learning to do a little bit faster. It will be a little more challenging, but it looks better. What else? Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. And I'm building a pretty good list, but I'm always welcoming any new ideas for tricks. I've got stubble duck, which I was going to do today, but my brakes, they're not working so well. So when I was trying, it was like slipping out. Stubble ducks, cherry picker, which I have to get back because it's a little bit hard with the brake setup I have. What else did I have? People asking about, oh, backwards walk around. Oh man, I haven't done that for a while. So I've got some work to do myself so I can bring some of these tricks. And then anything that I come across that I can't do, I was thinking about having someone do it with me so we can expand the trick list. So it's not just all my old school tricks. So thanks for watching. I hope you're enjoying these series. I'll continue to do them and always welcome to feedback. People have asked if I have a YouTube channel, which I do. It's just my name, Dave Nourie. And then I'm doing the Nourie's Bike Academy page. And just send me messages if you have any ideas or feedback or clips that you're doing the trick. I'd love to see that. Love to see your progression and what you're coming out with as far as these tricks and if you're adding them to your routine. All right, thanks for watching. Until next time.